Hey everyone, this is Steliafty with Closeout, and in today's video I'm going to tell you the 7 things sales should never automate, outsource, or leave in the hand of evil robots. All right, so there's a big trend in the sales world going on, and in the SaaS world in general, around it used to be all about hacking growth, hacking sales, this, that, or the other. Everything was a hack, everything was a shortcut, everything was some kind of a trick and trickery that everybody needed to copy in order to grow faster. And we moved from well, actually, it started with outsourcing, kind of outsourcing, offshoring everything. Then it moved into this hacking world, taking the engineering hats on, even in areas like sales and marketing, and trying to like hack growth and hack sales and all that stuff. Then it moved into the automation part of the automation world, where everything needed to be automated and scaled as quickly as possible. And we're just entering, at least in bullshit headlines, we're moving into the AI side of the thing. So sales is going to be taken over by robots and by bots and by automation and by artificial intelligence, right? And honestly, I see B2B startups all day long that are claiming to be AI powered and have an AI component. Most of them are all A with 0 I in it. If you really look into it, it's a lot of hype. It's marketing speak. It's a lot of buzzwords. And honestly, it can work at times. It will make buyers interested. It will make people feel like they should look into your solution or purchase your solution, like you're on the cutting edge of things. But there's really little substance today to this. Not saying that in the future we're not going to move in that direction, but right now, if you look at a lot of AI-powered solutions in SaaS, there's no there's no intelligence in there. It's a little bit of automation, a lot of artificial stuff, maybe some machine learning, maybe. But it's all overblown in hype. And I think that there's this belief today, and a lot of companies are buying into this, that sales is going to get dehumanized. Sales is going to be taken over by the robots and by artificial intelligence. So the future of selling does not involve humans. And I could not disagree stronger with this. Here's when I think that AI and robots will take over. It's the moment where one computer is purchasing software from another. Once computers are making buying decisions, which may come right in the future, and I don't know how soon. I'm not, I can't look into the future and tell you accurately. But once the world works in a way where computers are making all buying decisions, yeah, then computers can sell to other computers. When all buying is completely based on rational information, and it's done by the machines. Once machines buy things, machine can successfully sell things. But as long as humans are still in control on the wheel when it comes to making purchasing decisions, humans will always outperform machines in terms of selling them. And this is especially important the bigger the buying decision, the more friction is involved in one or multiple humans, which kind of massively increase the complexity, have to make difficult decisions. Whenever doubt is part of the equation, whenever there is imperfect sets of data to make decisions, whenever humans are involved, and not just one, but even multiple ones, just like in enterprise sales, people will have to be involved in selling. That's a prediction I give you. And the other thing that I want to share here, before I dive into the 7 things you should never automate, outsource, or leave in the hands of robots when it comes to your sales team, the other thing that I want to dive into here is that you wanna zig when others zag, and right now, as all these trends have been happening, as the world has been more transparent, and as it's become more and more easy to kind of share information and best practices and hacks and automation and processes within the sales world. Everything that's kind of a hack, everything that's kind of some kind of cool latest automation fad or a fashionable thing to do, all your competitors are reading the same articles, all your competitors are listening to the same keynote speeches, all your competitors are reading the same research papers, and they're all copying the same tactics. So if you look at the SaaS world, over the last 10 years, it's become so much more competitive because there's a lot more competition because the barriers of entry are much lower, and the competition is much better. It's much easier to build really good products in the SaaS world. It's better to have good design. It's better to have good user onboarding. It's better to have a good brand. It's all these SaaS companies, they're using the same tactics to grow, the same, marketing and sales hacks. They're using the same drip emails. They're using the same automation software. They're using the same prospecting providers. They're using the same AI components to schedule things and to do things. We're all copying each other. It's such a high frequency and it's such a high volume now in terms of the amount of companies around the world that compete for the same customers in the same markets that the cost of acquisition is going rapidly up. The value, the individual value perceived and received by a customer from every individual feature that you're building in your SaaS solution is rapidly going down, and the SaaS world is becoming less and less differentiated. Have you noticed this in your space? Have you been having some success and now it's getting more and more difficult? Or conversely, if you're in that bucket, you know what I'm talking about. If you just started in the last year and you think like, wow, this shit is going really easy. We went from 0 to 10K in MRR to 30 to 50 to 100K in MRR. Boom, we hit the 1 million mark. This was not as difficult. We're going to go off into the stars into 100 million. I have bad news for you. It's going to get increasingly more difficult. The first million in ARR is so much easier than it used to be. But then going from 1 million in ARR to 10 is a lot harder, more competition. You'll see a lot of friction happening. So I want you to think about doing things your competitors aren't doing. You can't just copy everything everybody else does. You need to think about what are ways to differentiate yourself in a way that's meaningful and high quality. Here's the one truth that will never be untrue. I promise it to you. This is the one prediction I'm confident in making, which is that whoever understands their customer the best will ultimately own them. Whoever understands the customer best, whoever has the most intimate understanding of what the customer truly needs, what the challenges of the customers are, and what the solutions to those challenges are, whoever understands the customer the best, so the highest level of empathy, the highest level of vision and clarity on their customers, they will win in this space. And I'm going to give you the keys to losing insights around your customer, to having less and less true understanding of what your customer is all about. The number one way to get more and more disconnected from your customer is to automate things, is to put barriers between you and the customer, is to create distance between you, your company, your team, the humans in your business, and the humans in the businesses of your customers, right? The more distance you create, the lower your understanding is going to be moving forward, and eventually you will not have any fucking clue who your customer truly is and what they care about today. Maybe you knew that a year ago, 5 years ago, but you're losing touch with your customers, and with that, you're gonna lose in the market and you're gonna get into trouble. Here's the simple remedy to that. If you wanna keep maintaining a high level of customer intimacy and knowledge and insights, you have to have very little distance. You have to be very close to your customer. So here's the 7 things I want you to never automate, outsource, or leave in the hands of the robots, or at least to not do that until you have full understanding of what's going on in those areas. And even then, if you outsource, I want you to once in a while de-outsource or de-automate or de-robot and have humans do the work manually again to reconfirm that all the past assumptions are still accurate. So let's go through the list. Step 1, or the first thing you should never outsource, automate, or give to robots is prospecting your customers. Now, that's one of the first things you're gonna wanna outsource at some point or automate, but not in the early days. When you just get started, you need to be prospecting yourself. And the reason for that is that you need to be learning how to identify your customer, how to define who your ideal customer is, and how to find places in the world to identify those people and prospect them. And once you have a process in place, once you really know how to prospect successfully, yeah, I think that at that point, this is probably one of the areas that eventually you can potentially outsource or automate to a certain degree, but you cannot ever fully automate that or outsource it forever. And this is what most companies want to do. The reason you don't want to do that is that your market and your customer is constantly changing. They're evolving. As the market changes, as the world changes, as they as humans change, their problems change, their desires, the way that they like their problems solved, the way they think about things, all this is changing. The places they're at. There were places a few years ago that you couldn't prospect people on, right? If you use LinkedIn for prospecting customers, well, LinkedIn didn't exist 10 years ago. In a few years, there's going to be all these new places. Some places will be dying, some new places will be invented, new platforms. Prospecting is constantly going to be evolving. And if you try to outsource and forget about it, or automate and forget about it, then your customers will soon forget about you, and your process will start, the foundation of your sales process will start to crumble and then crash, because the thing that you've built your house on is a foundation that is not stuck forever, not going to be the same 10, 20, 30 years from now. So you have to constantly go back. You can outsource this stuff, but then you constantly, every quarter at least, at that frequency, you need to go back into the prospecting world and actually have a squad, a specialist team in your company, do some prospecting manual, test new tools, new platforms, new way to prospect, and reevaluate if the current process of prospecting is still accurate or not. All right. Then the next thing that you should actually never stop doing, and never really automate or outsource or robot, prospecting is kind of the weakest one, because you can do that at times where you can have to come back frequently to reconfirm that this is still working. But the thing you should really never give away is observing your customers. You can never stop observing, watching your customers in the wild, in their natural habitat, on how they behave. So I'll give you an example. It's good. It's fine for you to put together a landing page, buy some ads, send some traffic to a page, and see the clicks. How many people click on the ad? How many people click on your website? How many people convert and give you their email address to do something? That data, those numbers, they're telling you part of the story, but there will always be lacking context. Nothing, you can get 100 people to a website to click around, but compare that with taking your laptop and your product or your landing page or whatever it is you're testing with your potential customer base, and going to a coffee shop or going to an area that's busy, that's full with professionals that are the type of buyers that you want to have, and walk in, shake somebody's hand and say, you know what, I'm going to buy you the next coffee if you can just give me 3 minutes of your time to look at my website or application or website and give some feedback on it. Tell me what it is. Tell me what you think of it. Is that a deal? I'll buy you your Frappuccino latte or whatever the hell you have, and you just give me 3 minutes to look at what I've built. And then turn around and just observe your potential customer user. Observe not just what they tell you, but how they look, where they look. Observe the pain in their face or the confusion when they try to figure out what the hell is this, and what does this do. They might even, like, after a while of going back and forth on the landing page, they might click on something, but that click, when you see the confusion and pain in the customer's face, that tells a very different story from just the count going up by one more click, on some kind of a dashboard or analytics board, right? So, and then tell that user or customer, hey, can you tell me in your own words, what is this? What are we trying to accomplish, and how we are trying to help you solve your problems? And let them tell you what they observed and what they interpreted on your website. And then tell them to tell it to a friend of theirs. No medicine is more healthy to all our stupidities and out of touch ideas than being in touch and observing the customer in the wild, like actually watching them use your product, actually watching them interact with your ideas, actually having them describe to you and others what it is and what it does and why they like it or dislike it. Nothing is healthier than truly spending time observing your customers. Too many companies today don't do this, and because of technology, because of the amazing power of technology, the downside of it is that we are less and less in touch with other humans and with our potential customers, and we don't even bother anymore observing people. We're just happy, watching the end result of a survey and looking at analytics and clicks and conversion funnels, and all that shit is great. I don't say don't utilize that. I'm telling you, you cannot at all at any point go, hey, robots, just keep observing our customers and telling us what they really think, how they really feel, what their challenges and problems are, what they're confused about. You have to do that as a human. You have to observe your customers to get real insights, to get aha moments, that eureka moment of, oh my God, I just got it. I saw all these people struggle with this, and now I have a solution. Now I have something truly innovative or truly different in terms of how to approach this thing. Or, wow, I've heard all these people use the same words to describe a different a set of problems. Now I know how to tackle this. So you need to never stop observing your customers yourselves. The next thing is talking to them, right? So you should observe them, but you also should talk to them, converse to them, call them, talk to them on the phone, send them emails in person, go and meet them in person. Even if you have a product that is very end consumer driven, even if you have a product that you say, you know what, the price point, it doesn't scale for us to go and meet every single customer and close them in person. You don't have to do this forever. You don't have to do this for every single person, but you can never stop doing this. You cannot automate, outsource, or robot this shit. You have to keep talking to your customers. And even more important than talking to them is you have to keep listening to them. You have to listen to how they describe their problems, how they describe what's going on. And when you listen to them on the surface level, you have an incredible opportunity to dig deeper, to ask follow-up questions, to notice a distress in their voice, a depression, a confusion, an anger, not just take the words they give you, right? You know, think about it. There's a big difference between me saying, I'm really happy with this, and me saying, I'm, really happy with this. Is there a difference? Do these two sentences have a different meaning to you, although they use the exact same words? Yes, they do, because tonality and body language is telling a different story. It's telling you that there might be more to this. And a lot of times, maybe on a high level, you need some more digging in order to have to be able to afford to stop interpreting, right? So when I say, hey, I want this to be simpler, what does that mean? You can't just say, oh yeah, our customers really worry about simplicity. What does simplicity mean to your customer? Can you describe to me what should be simpler? How would it be simpler? Tell me more. Talking to your customers is something you always have to do. You should do forever, and you should be proud and excited about talking to your customers. Again, you might decide that you cannot talk to all your customers all the time, but you should talk to at least some of your customers all the time. Never ever stop talking to your customers. You cut the conversation between you and your customer, you are setting a death penalty on your business, because you are stopping to understand who your customer is and what their problems are and how they think and how they talk about things, how they articulate their problems. And if your understanding is lower than your competitors, they're going to come and crush you. The next thing you need to do is spend time with them on a human level. Like, actually spending time with them, again, will increase your understanding, increase your relationship with them. This can be visiting them and their offices. Again, this gives all these opportunities for you to observe the customer. This gives all the opportunities for you to have conversations with them, to listen to them. This gives you the opportunity to actually just even build a relationship. Like, you can buy a lot of goodwill by showing up, showing face, being available, humanizing your business. So it's not just, this logo versus that logo, this SaaS solution versus that solution, but is a bunch of anonymous SaaS solutions versus Bob and Mary and John, people I like, people I trust, people that seem to care about me. You'll have more loyalty with your customers if you show them loyalty, and if you share them that you care, and if you show up and humanize your business. I will make them feel differently about you, and if they feel differently about you, they will go to war for you and to bat for you, and they will champion your solution. They will tell other people about what you do. They will help you more with more information. They will be better customers because you're a better service provider to them, because you're giving them a better quality service, more human quality of service. So you want to spend time with them. You can visit them. You can host meetups. We just started doing this, go to different cities where our customers are and have a meetup and bring all our customers together and have them build a community, share with each other, network with each other, make ourselves available to them and them to each other. Once you're bigger, you can start hosting conferences around challenges that happen in your industry, or go to conferences where a lot of your type of customers are hanging out, and listen to them, be part of the conversation, be enveloped around your customers, and just spend quality time with them, building relationships with them, listening, observing, prospecting, talking to them, and keeping that intimacy with them that will keep you razor sharp and give you a competitive advantage indefinitely. At no point ever in the future will people say, I wish my service provider will understand me less. At no point will ever people go, well, I want to buy a solution where people don't know anything about me that built that solution, and they don't care about me that built that solution, and that don't have the type of problems I have that built that solution. Nobody will ever say that because that will never be true, ever. The other thing you don't want to outsource robot or AI is training them. Again, any of these areas that I share with you, honestly, at some point, some of these areas you might automate, and some of these areas you might AI once AI has real eye in it, but you will never want to fully let go of it, because if you let go of that area, again, you create distance between you and your customer, and that's the beginning of the end. So training your customers is really important. You should be training them. You should be coaching them and showing them how to use the product and showing them how to succeed in that field. And again, that training will open your eyes to what they're truly struggling with. And maybe they're struggling with it within your product, maybe they're struggling with it within their job. And again, that can give you incredible insights on what kind of features to build, what other products to create for them, what other services to create for them, how to service them better, how to create more value for them, how to build a better business around them and make the world a better place. So keep training these people. Don't just outsource that to somebody. Don't just write a bunch of articles. Don't try to automate all of it. Some of it maybe, but never all of it. You have to keep training some of your customers, again, to create these never-ending source and well of new ideas and new inspirations. Consulting your customers. A lot of SaaS companies don't think about this. We all want to just productize and automate, but you should consult a certain amount of your customers. Actually do one-on-one consulting on their business challenges, not just on your software itself, but just in general, how they do business, how they solve certain problems, how they expand, whatever it is that you have a lot of expertise in. Offer that as consulting. Maybe you offer it as paid consulting, maybe it's free consulting. We're offering sales office hours where I talk to CEOs, help them solve some of their sales challenges. Again, I used to do this a lot. I cannot do it with as much volume as I used to, but I never ever stop doing it because it is a never-ending source of ideas, inspiration, customer intimacy, and customer loyalty. And it gives us a competitive edge with everybody else out there that's in the marketplace. And then never ever stop supporting them, right? Giving them support. This is one of those things a lot of SaaS businesses give horrible support, just shitty support. Like we're customers of a lot of SaaS solutions. We hate with a passion the type of support they give you. Man, you send an email and it goes off into the ether. It takes forever to get an email back. The responses you get back from support and most of the SaaS solutions are non-answers, bullshit type of, well, we're very thankful for you informing us about this matter. We shall get back to you shortly. When they don't say anything. They have no solutions. You don't know if this is an automated message. You don't know if this is like an intern. You don't know if this is some person somewhere in a random location around the world. They have no technical knowledge, no industry knowledge, no intimacy with you. They don't know anything about you, so they cannot serve you, they can't support you. Support is incredibly important. It's the best source for customer intimacy, for you to really know what's going on, how things are going, what people are confused about, what people are struggling about, all these areas, prospecting, observing, talking, spending time with them, training, consulting, and even supporting. Your sales team should do some amount of support, right? It's going to be eye-opening to the things people struggle with and how to sell them better, what not to sell them on, what to promise and not to promise, where there are opportunities, what kind of language, again, people are using. But you need to give your customers supporting you. You need to have a rotation where people in your sales team give support for one day out of the month. Your head of sales should do that. Your CEO, the founding team, the executives in the company, the more out of touch they are with the customer, the less they're going to be able to actually serve them. Again, it comes back to this basic principle that's not earth-shattering, but will always be true, right? Follow the Amazon example of how to innovate. Jeff Bezos asked themselves, don't ask yourself what is changing, but let's ask ourselves what will never change. And Amazon decided what will never change is customers will never want to pay more money for the same product, and they will never want to wait longer amount of time to get it. So all the innovation, everything Amazon used to do and still doing is asking themselves, how can we deliver things faster at a lower price? If that is our North Star, our guiding principle, we will crush the competition, because this is something that will always be true instead of just chasing fads left and right. And yes, we'll use up-to-date technology and we'll use new things that are going on in the world, but it's always to serve that goal that our customers, and not just to be fashionable and do what's trendy and what everybody else is doing, and doing things out of a fear of missing out, versus out of a fear of missing touch. That should be the fear that you have, the fear of missing touch with your customer versus the fear of missing out, with the latest fashion and all that stuff that's going on in the world. So with that being said, when you're in the very early days, Jesus Christ, the train is going by. I don't know if you catch that on this video, but if you are in the early days, you should do all these things very, very manually until you have a true understanding of what's going on with your customer. As your business grows, some of these things you're going to automate, but you can never automate forever. You might outsource some of these things, but you should never outsource forever. And you might, once we have real robots that know things and can think for themselves, you might AI some of this shit, but not forever. You should have humans check in, do some of these things in a human way, manually, to stand out from the crowd, to build a more humanized, more intimate brand, to make people feel something around your company and not just use it, and for you to stay in touch with the customer instead of just staying in touch with the latest trends. All right, this is it from us. I can't wait to see people disagreeing. There's so many articles out there about AI taking over and automation taking over and all the hacks, and salespeople will be obsolete. And honestly, I think they're all a pile of shit, and they are distracting salespeople and sales teams and new companies from serving the customer and focusing on what you should be focusing most, which is your customer and not what some industry expert tells you to do. So I can't wait to hear your disagreements about this or agreements. Leave some comments if you have some, and you can always get in touch with us and with me personally. This is another example of this. At Stelly@Close.io, we send our newsletters from human email addresses. So our customers, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that get these emails, if they want to reply and say awesome or shitty or change this or here's an idea, whatever they want to tell us, they can always reply to our emails, and they always reply to a human versus a sales email address or contact or even worse, the most evil of all, no reply. Don't reply to us. We don't want to talk to you. Shoot me an email if you want to chat. This is it from us, and make sure to go to blog.close.io and subscribe to our blog. Twice a week, we publish highly tactical, highly strategic advice around sales and entrepreneurship. Let's go crush them.